Hi, good evening. My name is B. Fashoyin. Tonight, I'm on to a program, info.com on Lagos Television, Ikeja. Lagos Television is repositioning itself, and I must give kudos to Mr. Adekunle Ajanaku, the Permanent Secretary, who has deemed it fit to bring the IT program as part of the contents of this station. Why? Lagosians deserve to know better. We deserve to know what's happening around the world. We deserve to know how to use our gadgets. We deserve to know what's happening around the world. We deserve to know how technology can actually do us, make us better, make us live better in terms of security, in terms of better ways of living our life, in terms of knowing what's happening, in terms of being part of the world global village that is shrinking every day because of the use of technology. So every week, what do you stand to watch? This same time, every week on this same station. First, we'll take a look at our gadgets. A lot of us have gadgets that we don't need. Some buy phones. Some even have phones for their kids. These kids don't need these phones, but it's part of the status quo. And are there dangers inherent in giving phones to your children? There are, and we'll prove that to you every week. Just make sure you stay tuned to this program. Now, a lot of us do also know that you can actually have a convergence between your gadgets. For example, with the use of your mobile phone can help control your television. It can control your refrigerator. It can make your refrigerator talk to you. Your refrigerator can tell you through an SMS that, for example, you need to restock your fridge or your freezer. Now, those are things that a lot of us don't know. Some buy laptops and, general computers, and they would go and say, look, I just want the biggest, the one that has the biggest gigabytes. But do you need those things? You really don't. You really don't need them. And then we can also troubleshoot by ourselves. Certain things that you need to do by yourself, you actually don't need to go helter-skelter. And so every week on this station, we'll bring in experts who would teach us and help us to maximize our space within the technology space. What else do you stand to watch? Happenings around the world, events concerning actors, captains of industry, and generally the news about information communications and technology will be brought to you live. We already have the stakeholders buy-in, and so every week be ready to know what's happening from the end of the operator to you. What about consumer protection? Are you getting the best? Every week we'll give you also the reason to trust us. For example, we're on Facebook. All of that will be shown to you. Our Twitter handle would also be shown to you. And YouTube, you could watch this program again later on by yourself. And our website, of course, all these are things that will be a feedback mechanism from you to us. We don't just want to come and talk every week. We want you to talk to us. And of course, security. What can we do about security? This program will help us know how to live better and give tidbits to our agencies and our governments on how to make the best use of technology for us. My name is B. Fashoyin. I have some guests in the house. What else have I forgotten? CEOs of the month. We want to celebrate excellence, and so every day we seek to reach out to companies all around Nigeria to look at the models for best practices, and we select the heads of the CEOs of that organizations, and we showcase them as a pointer to us all that if they can do it, you also can do it. And so you can reach out to us. You want to advertise, you want us to know what's happening, or you have gadgets that you have just brought in, you want the entire world to know about, you can bring it to us and we'll showcase it to the world. Lagos Television is no longer terrestrial, not just what you can see on the, within Lagos, but in states of the Federation, and also we have gone digital. On the satellite, you can also watch us. Don't go anywhere because I'll be right back after this time. But my name, B. Fashoyin. You're welcome back to the studios of Lagos Television, Ikeja. Today, we want to take a look at IT and security. Like I said in my opener, we want to know whether it is imperative to stay by traditional means of securing lives and properties, or whether, with the advent of information technology, there are actually things that we could use. For example, for sports, I've just been told that some robots are being prepared to compete during the Olympics. Okay, they're going to be like men. They're going to be running. If things like that are happening, can we also deploy IT into security? Can we actually do that? And I have with me a seasoned IT professional who has a lot of experience in that field. And so he's in the studios. You're welcome to the program, Mr. Kayode Kolade.
Thank you, B. Thank you, B.
Is it Kayode Kolade or Kolade Kayode?
It's Kolade Kayode.
So KK.
KK.
Okay. So we want to take a look at IT and security. In your view, where do they meet, and how do we begin to relate that with security?
Okay, to start with, IT is very broad. Also, security is very broad. But in the present generation we are, IT and security are interwoven. If you talk digital solution, you must talk IT. If you talk analog solution, then security can stand on its own. So, and these days, nobody goes for the analog solution because we're in the digital age. So everything.
Before we go to digital age, because I want the viewers at home to flow with us. This analog you're talking about, how does that? Can you explain what it is, and why is it that we're migrating from that to the digital age?
Okay, this is it. When I talk analog, let me use camera, CCTV, for example. When I talk analog system, I talk about the system where you just take up a cable, plug cables together, you have an image on the screen. An image that is limited in terms of resolution. There's a maximum output you can throw out, limited in terms of resolution, and limited in terms of storage capacity. But these days, based as in the what's it called? Based on the introduction of IT into security, these days you have intelligent cameras, you have cameras that can count, cameras that can speak, you have cameras, and your image is not boxed into a particular resolution.
Cameras that are smart, or a technology that is smarter than the rest. Okay.
And you are not limited to a certain resolution. You can have greater resolution based on what you want or what you can accommodate. So that is what IP has brought into it, and not just limited to that. These days, you can have remote viewing, remote access to what you're doing to the field operations and things like that. And that came on board with the help of ICT. So IT and security, in this present age of ours, you can't just take them away from each other.
You talked about a very critical part there. That's the IP, Internet Protocol. What influence has it brought in to shift us from analog to digital? What is IP? Okay.
Internet protocol is just a protocol used in the networking field, in the IT terms. It's a protocol that is used to send data from one end to the other. So if you relate that to security these days, you have a camera somewhere and you want to have a remote access to what is being viewed at the site where the camera is installed, definitely you need internet protocol.
Are they synonymous? Are they numbers? Is it a kind of number?
They are every data we send over the internet are basically data. They are numbers. That's why we call them data.
Okay.
You get it? They are data. So it's in the process of from the starting point to the end point. That's where we have decoding and encoding. I think it's in that process that it's being encoded into whatever, and once it gets to the receiving point, it's being decoded again into the normal flow. Everything is pure data. There's nothing is 1 + 2 + whatever. So everything is data. So what I'm trying to say is that IP, Internet Protocol, is the protocol that is being used for you to have, you see people tell you they have a camera installed at, for example, let's use Lagos at Oshodi, and somebody is viewing it at Ikeja. It's being sent over
through the internet.
It's not necessarily the internet per se.
Okay.
It can be a local area network, it can be a wide area network, it can be, but it's being sent from one point A to point B, and it can be sent through the internet too, from somebody probably at using bandwidth, somebody at a very far location.
Okay, now let's come to security, and let's bring that into security.
Okay.
Just this morning on CNN, a gentleman was said to have been shot dead by police somewhere in Michigan. And it was said that this guy went to steal a packet of cigarettes somewhere. And then some policemen saw him somewhere and then shot him. But they brought out the videos of the gentleman in the place stealing this cigarette and coming out. We used to think that these white men were witches. When they say, oh, they caught somebody, you know, somebody who stole, and then they bring out the images. Can we have that in Nigeria?
Yes, of course we can have that. We have that in Nigeria.
Oh, we have that.
We have that in Nigeria. That's the truth about it. We have that in Nigeria. Some corporate organizations, some public infrastructures, public, what's it called? Public place, as in meeting place also, do have standard
Cameras in their premises.
Installed in their premises. But the but is that we reference the Western countries. There is no, look, this thing is so simple. 1 + 1 is 2 in America. 1 + 1 is 2 in Nigeria. It only takes us here in Nigeria to make sure we are doing 1 + 1 so that we can get 2. There is no magic. It's a standard way of doing things. If you install a CCTV here, if anything happens, I get it. But the difference you get is they can, if they are installing a CCTV, they install that CCTV and they make sure they are getting they are getting the maximum. They are using it to its maximum capacity. But here in Nigeria, we can install the same CCTV and we're going to underutilize it. That's the problem we are facing.
The problem then is, if you don't have cameras in my neighborhood,
Okay.
somebody breaks into my home,
Okay.
okay, and then steals things.
Okay.
But I have cameras in my house, but I don't have in my neighborhood.
Okay.
How do I draw the story like the Americans did, where they'll tell you the time?
Okay.
You know, you also have these heat sensors that
Yes.
come with the camera. As soon as a human being goes, the camera goes off. It begins to. So you say these things are here. How can we put cameras everywhere such that we can be sure that at every point in time we can actually have what you call evidences to nail certain criminals?
Okay, B, if I would, let me use the government, let me take probably Lagos State government, for example. Lagos State government installed some cameras. And fine, good, they started from as far as 2008, if I'm correct. Yeah, 2000, as far as 2008, they started the project. Federal government who did theirs, and these days, almost all the banks have cameras installed in their premises. Most corporate bodies have cameras installed in their premises. Most shopping malls have cameras installed in their premises. But you still find out that at times things happen, we don't get results. Not because we can't get results. It's just because two things. Number one, either they were not properly installed to get the result we were supposed to get, or they were properly installed, those manning, and don't have the technical capability to extract the kind of result we are supposed to get. Or the authority who needs the result, like the police force, is not asking for the kind of results they want from them.
How efficient are those that have been installed? For example, in Lagos, that you're talking about the banks, the offices, the corporate, the malls and the stuff.
Okay, I can talk for a few malls here in Nigeria. I can tell you they are up and doing. People may not know, but if you go there, you will know they're up and doing. For the Lagos State project, I can tell you, at least I give kudos to the government to have even had a foresight to even go ahead in the first place to install. Though there are one or two things they need to sort out, because so far what I've seen as a professional, what I've seen them do is, okay, let me just explain this. If you are installing, there are three categorization of things you want to achieve while installing. Do you want to install a camera to identify? Do you want to install a camera to classify? Or do you want just to install a camera to detect? What I've seen the government do, the Lagos State government do, is because looking at the height at which they have their cameras and looking at the choice of cameras they have up there, the best they can get is just, what's it called, classification and not identification. So they can have a general overview of the highways to know if there's traffic on the highways, but sincerely speaking, I can say categorically that they can't identify at that with the kind of installation they've done.
Let's play this crazy scenario.
Okay.
I come in front of the camera.
Okay.
And be Fashoyin.
Okay.
Okay, and you have this megapixel that already understands. I've taken up my entire face.
face.
And I say, hi, yes, I'm going to throw a bomb in the next street now. Or I have a bomb wired to me, I'm going to blow up. Do we have the response that can catch me?
Yes, of course we have. That is where.
Oh, don't worry. Next week I'm going to answer this. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be on to Kayode Kolade, I don't know. I use both of them. And I thank you so very much. Next week, we're going to go to the second part of this because we're telling a story. Okay. At the end of the day, we're going to see how technology and security come together. So thank you so very much for coming.
No, thank you.
I'll see you next week. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be right back after this time out. Don't go anywhere because we're coming back with the CEO of the month. Hold on.
My name is Ibrahim Yusuf, CEO of Mobile Knowledge Solutions. The essence of Mobile Knowledge Solution is creating a platform, mobile platform for us to better the educational system within Nigeria. As everybody knows, the educational system right now is a bit abysmal, lack of a better word. And what we're trying to do is improve it, bring the educational system into the 21st century, to within the country, across the country, to different schools, different genres and things like that, because the world out there is advancing. Everybody is going into tech, as far as schools, as far as education. So we are trying to do that within an affordable medium. We are into educational tablets for secondary school students. So essentially what we've done is we've taken tablets. We're trying to, for simplicity purposes, we're trying to get rid of students carrying heavy books to school. So essentially you have your classroom videos, you have your classroom labs, you have your textbooks, past question papers, all on a tablet, a 7-inch tablet for a student, and you can carry that in a simple handbag or something like that, as opposed to carrying heavy books. So essentially it's a tablet with everything you need for your schools, everything you need for your studies, all in one. It is new to Nigeria, but yes, there are people using it and it's quite functional. We've got about 6 or 7 schools that we've sold these tablets to, and they have praised it, their students have used it, and there are other companies as well. I'm sure everybody has heard of Opoimo. Opoimo too has seen the potential in this. They've seen the ability that this has in helping other students. So yes, there is a market for it. There is the potential for it to help students in this country. Yeah, like you said, that's something every CEO has to handle every month. But the best way to do it is just to, one, take it in stride. 2, you have to push your people. I mean, you can't just sit back and say, you know, I'm a CEO, I'll let everybody else handle it. There has to be a little bit of micromanaging, even though CEOs generally shouldn't do that, but there has to be a little bit to make sure your people are staying on their toes, to make sure everybody's, you know, dotting their I's and crossing their T's. That has to be done in order for you to have peace of mind at the end of the month. It's been tough. As you said, Nigerians are not one for change. The best way to do it is to go out there and educate them and let them know, you know, this is for better. I'm not trying to take you backwards. I'm not trying to make things more difficult for you. I'm actually trying to make it easier for you. Don't carry books to school. The health organization will tell you carrying heavy backpacks are bad for your spine. So look, you know, this is lighter, it's easier, it's efficient. So you have to educate the general public essentially. You have to go there and say, let's do a seminar. We'll show you what this thing is. We'll show you what the content is about. We'll show you how it will help you, as opposed to you just saying, I don't like that, I don't want to do it. So you have to educate the public. Personally, with us, the government isn't involved, but the government, they've seen the potential in it. They want to get involved in it. We've spoken to several state governments, and they see the ability of what this can do for their federal government schools, their public schools. So they want to get involved. I guess the issue they're having is as to how, which is where companies like ours come in and say, this is how you can get involved. This is the solution you can provide, and this is the best way to go about it. So to give credit to them, they do want to get involved. They're just a bit sketchy on as to how. Yes, the government should come in. It would be very helpful if the government, one, recognizes something like this nationally. For example, if the Ministry of Education should come and say, okay, we see what you guys are trying to do. We understand how it will help. If they support it fully, that will get the backing of other, different aspects of the government saying, okay, well, these guys import these. Anybody who's in this type of business, nobody's producing these things locally. Everybody imports it. If you say, let's waive the taxes for that because it's an educational tool, that would help us. It'll make things easier for us. Some people have to wait weeks, months in order for them to get their products and things like that. If they smoothing the way a bit for these educational products to come in, it would help. But we would much rather them help in, for not really glorifying this, but helping with the expansion of this to the local schools, the local public schools, federal government schools, so that way the students actually focus on the education. If the students can focus on the education, we don't mind paying the tariffs and things like that for these products to come in, as long as in the end it helps the community, it betters the education system. That's really what's in it for us. A lot of the things that we're finding out now is teachers who are teaching these students themselves don't know what they're teaching. The lack of structures, proper school structures that kids can go to and say, let me learn, for a teacher to teach you. If you look at the North, they literally have classes on the trees. The way this product can help is, one, you don't necessarily need a teacher. We're following the curriculum for the Nigerian educational sector. We've had people verify that the curriculum is accurate. You have your textbooks, you have your past question papers, you have exams that you can actually develop yourself on the device. It will put random questions together. You have your videos that you can see teachers explaining things. You have your physics labs, biology labs. So if a student has the will and the determination to say, okay, I don't have classes today, let me study this thing on my own, it gives them a better chance of practicing and actually learning, as opposed to saying, let me wait for school, or there's no school today, or we don't have a teacher, and they do nothing all day. But if you have this device, you actually can move forward without having to wait for your teacher to come and say, this is what you need to do, this is the chapter you need to read. So if any student who is willing to learn, it'll definitely help you in getting better results. If I was not here, I'd rather be relaxing somewhere on the beach, but everybody wants to do that. I actually studied international business and finance, but if I wasn't here, I'd actually probably be in hospitality somewhere in a different country. Nigerians, you definitely need to go for this product because aside from the fact that it's a helpful tool, students can use this as soon as they finish school. They can use it for developmental purposes. We have something called the Young Software Developers Club. So students can have this, they can create websites, they can create applications, they can create games on their own. Everybody wants to be the new .com CEO, or I created this app and I made $1 million. This is a tool for you to do that. Aside from getting your children better education, you can build their creative side as well as their mental development. So that is a very good reason for you to go out and get this. Our website is www.mkslimited.com. You can follow us on Twitter as well, and you can also follow us on Facebook.
Welcome back to the station, Lagos Television. You're still on to info.com. My name is B. Fashion. I hope you have been very, very amused. I hope you've been excited by what we have brought as a maiden edition. We took a look at MKS, and of course, you met with Mr. Yusuf, IB Yusuf. I think that a lot of youths would take a cue from the fact that this is a young man, and we're young men. We must all start from somewhere and build something that would outlive us. On this note, we are ending this program today, but don't you worry. You have a Facebook page on your screen. You can relate back to us. You have an email address. You have phone numbers. You can talk to us. We'll be glad to have feedback from you on how you have seen this program today. Until same time next week on the same station, my name is B. Fashion saying thank you so very much.